Welcome to My Hometown, the program that explores clubs, organizations, businesses, and issues across Nassau and Suffolk counties and sheds light on the different towns that are making a difference.
Hello and welcome to My Hometown. My name is Bill Horan, and I'm here with my co-host, Nassau Community College student Corey Kaufman. And today we're once again going to shine the spotlight on another unique business here on Long Island for our four-legged friends.
A few weeks ago, we met owners from a business here on Long Island that talked about raw eating for dogs and the health benefits that may have. What's on the docket for today, Bill?
Today we're going to find a unique way to keep our dogs active and safe during the day and maybe for even longer periods of time in a very unique way with our guests, Colleen, Tracey-Shaver, and Ann McDonald, franchise owners of Hounds Town USA from the Garden City location. Colleen and Ann, welcome to My Hometown on the voice of Nassau Community College 90.3 WHPC.
Thank you. It's nice to be here.
Now, first of all, tell us, I love the name. How did this come about, Hounds Town? Tell us the background story, Hounds Town USA.
Hounds Town was a franchise that was started by Mike Gould. He was a Nassau County police that worked with the dogs training.
Oh, so right here in Nassau County?
Yes.
And this is it just Nassau, Suffolk, or is it nationwide?
It's nationwide.
Really? That's fantastic.
Yeah.
And where are some of the other locations?
They just opened up one in Detroit. There's another one in, there's one in Detroit. There's Pittsburgh, Florida. There's a couple other locations that they're growing
all over the
country.
A good starting point, Long Island. All right, good for pets. Corey?
So just tell us a little bit about your background and how did you come to be the co-owners of a doggy daycare? Did you work in like any animal care before this?
No, I worked in healthcare for 20 plus years before that. So I figured between serving the patients and families, I'm now serving the dogs for their families, which is an extension of their family.
It's definitely a similar skill set.
Still providing care for our good four-legged friends.
Yeah.
And Colleen, what was your background?
I worked in advertising and audio post-production for about 20 years. I did work at a vet's office out of high school. When I was younger, I wanted to be a vet tech, but working at the vet's office, I realized that it was just, there were certain things that made me too sad, and I was not the person to be able to do that. And I did also work on the franchisor side, so I felt like this would be a great fit in terms of being a franchisee. And
you're taking care of them during the day. They're not sick. They're not ill.
That is true. It's all happiness.
So it's all happy. It's like the baby
happy
doctor,
things,
right?
Exactly.
This is great. This is the perfect way to spend your time during the day.
So how did you become franchise owners?
My dog Mason was going to one of the locations, the Hounds Town that is in Farmingdale. And when he was a puppy, he's a big puppy now. He's about 140 pounds.
He
was eating our couches. He was bored. He was just way too much for us to handle. So we started bringing him to Farmingdale, and he would come home and what we now refer to as having the Hounds Town hangover. He would sleep, and he was just much more manageable. So when I left my job at the franchise I worked at, Ann and I started speaking about maybe finding a next step where we had more control over our lives, and we both love dogs, so we kind of thought it was a natural thing. So we looked into it, and we settled on Hounds Town, and here we are.
One, yes, and we want to hear more stories about a 140-pound puppy.
No, you don't.
No, I don't? Okay. If he ate the couch, I think that tells us enough. Now, we know you're a dog owner. Are you a pet owner?
Presently, no, I'm not a dog owner now.
Nothing, not a cat,
Nothing.
not a goldfish,
Nothing.
Chinchilla?
No. Oh, I have a chinchilla, too.
Oh, yeah.
She lives at Hounds Town, actually, yes.
Now, that brings up, it says Hounds Town. Of course, we think of dogs. But are there other pets that come to Hounds Town?
Yeah, we accept cats also. We have cat boarding.
Yeah, we would probably accept, most anything. I mean, cage, not a lion, but we had 2 cats for a couple of weeks. But if somebody came to us with like a bunny or a chinchilla, something cage, in a cage where we can make sure they were safe from the dogs, we would certainly do that.
Right. They don't mix, right?
They do not.
The cats and the dogs don't run around together?
No.
Very good.
Funny story, Corey. I had, my family has always had dogs. but 2 cats were born under our porch, and they adopted us, and we were nice to them. And the neighbors would go crazy when they saw us go out walking because we would be taking our dog, and the 2 cats would walk with the dog. And they go, aren't they supposed to be chasing each other? And one day my dog was like a little put out, like you're standing too close. And I guess the cat annoyed him, and he did something, not too aggressive, but the cat just raised her paw and bopped him on the head like, stop that. We're friends. We'll get along. And they always walked together. And neighbors would look so shocked when they saw this. It was like, the old cartoons.
Yeah.
The dog is supposed to chase the cats. Why are they getting along so well? So
I think that just made for good stories.
It did. It was great storytelling because I couldn't get over it and how well they got along. But they would wait till we came out, and they were under the porch. And eventually my wife set up a little house for them, or I called it their condo. But when the dogs came out, we would all go for a walk together right around the open property.
So walk us through the average day. What's it like, when someone drops off their dog at Hounds Town USA? What happens from the time they drop them off to the time that they pick them up later?
Well, during the week, we're up at 6 o'clock in the morning there, and people start dropping their dogs off as early as that, and we bring them into one of our 7 boarding rooms. And as the dogs come in, we start grouping them, putting them together with the same size and same temperament, and they just play all day until they get picked up again.
Yeah.
That's a good life. I would like it.
I would like that
maybe
too.
If you have a large cage, I'll come over there someday.
The beds look comfy sometimes,
They,
I have
they
to
should
tell
have
you.
adult daycare where we go over and spend some time. Now, tell Lorenz, first of all, where are you located? We said Garden City, but if somebody's looking for you, where in Garden City?
839 Stewart Avenue.
And where is that? I know it's 839 Stewart Avenue, but if we like a landmark, is it near something we would recognize?
It's across the street from the post office in Garden City on Stewart Avenue behind
The Garden Gourmet
Gourmet
Deli.
Deli.
We're actually attached to it.
Okay.
So the building really kind of goes north-south. We do use the Garden Gourmet a lot as a landmark because you don't actually see us behind them until you're passing us. So we like to tell people just find the Garden Gourmet Deli and come behind that, and you will definitely see us because we're quite bright.
That's where I always look for directions. What I would say to someone: are you near the church? Are you near the post office? Wherever. And so you are in walking distance of Nassau Community College.
Yeah.
Yes,
You could walk
one of
over
our
here.
employees comes
Really?
here,
Okay.
and she walks to us when she's finished with classes.
That's the
It's
perfect-
actually funny because I go to that deli
Everybody knows that deli.
almost every morning.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now it's student discount.
Yes, 20% off.
And pets too? Do they give the pets
No,
a better
but they
sandwich?
give us
or
a little,
They
you
give
know.
you a little break. Okay. Now I was talking to Ann before, and she was telling me some of the services you offer. This was before the show. Tell our audience, because I was surprised by what's included when you think of a place where you would board dogs. So tell us about the services that are offered there.
Sure. So for boarding, we actually offer feeding. So most people bring their own food, but we do feed them for no extra charge. When the dogs are there for boarding, we basically charge for the boarding, but the dogs are in the daycare with all the other daycare dogs. Mm-hmm. So your dog is out with the daycare dogs all day. We offer baths. Those are additional. We do what we call exit baths, which is, just a regular bath. And then we do spa baths, which include nail trimming, ears being washed in this
The works. You
lovely
pamper 'em.
blueberry facial. Yes. They get
Mud baths.
pampered. Yeah.
I think we would all like some of that. But here's the new term that hit me, and I was talking to Ann before the show. I associate daycare with my grandchild, and he goes to daycare, and he's a little person. And, does the thing that I didn't associate daycare with pets, and I just didn't put those two words together. Is that something new, or am I just out of the loop?
It's relatively new.
Okay.
Yeah,
In
it's a
stereo.
new concept because people's work days are getting longer and longer. Commuting is longer and longer, and you want your dog to be interactive, and you want them to at least get out most of their energy or all of their energy during the day while you're at work, burning out your energy too.
And that's something we were talking about because I actually have a new puppy, and I was saying to my wife, if people aren't around during the day, because this puppy has her own schedule. She'll take a nap, a good nap, sometime an hour, sometime 4 or 5 hours. But when she wakes up, she wants entertainment.
Playtime. Mm-hmm.
And if not, she's not big enough to eat the couch like your massive dog. But she is going to chew on something. She'll get a little bit rambunctious. She wants to run around, go fetch, get something. And she'll do it irregularly because, again, she's about 10 weeks old.
Right.
Now, I saw something about your organization, though, and you have to tell me this. What's a pet taxi? Is that a side hustle for the dogs? Do they, spend some time driving during the day?
No, we actually will pick up and drop dogs off. There are some people that are disabled that we've dealt with, and other people that may just not be able to. Some don't have a car. I know when my puppies were young, I actually had surgery and I had boarded my dogs, and there was a pet taxi that dropped them off at home for me. So there's so many reasons why somebody would actually need to have a
Oh, I
their
think
dog
it's great.
picked
I
up
just
and
never heard
dropped
the
off.
concept, and I think that's one of those things, right time, right place.
Yeah.
Because if someone is going to a job very early, if they have to come and drop, it's another 20 minutes, 40 minutes, depending where they live. And if the pet taxi can pick up and drop off, and do they drop them back home in the afternoon then,
Sure,
too?
if they've been
That's what they
requested
want.
to, absolutely.
Oh, that's
Absolutely.
a great service.
Yeah.
So makes it a lot easier on the people. Or if they're stuck working a different time schedule or miss a train or something coming home, that works for them.
Yeah, well, what about Pet Uber or Pet Lyft?
Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, those sound like good concepts, right?
Yeah, that would be.
Corey's probably a business student. I think
Yeah,
he's
I'm
working
thinking
on
about it.
something. He's
Gonna
going
write that one down.
He's going to compete with you.
Well, you are listening to My Hometown on the voice of Nassau Community College, 90.3 WHPC. My name is Corey Kaufman, along with Bill Horan, and today we're talking about a unique business here on Long Island that takes care of your dogs when you aren't able to. It's called Hounds Town USA. Our guests are franchisee owners Colleen Tracey-Shaver and Ann McDonald from the Garden City location. Hounds Town USA, at least your location, is a fully interactive doggy daycare. Can you just explain what that means and why is that important? Why is that different from other doggy daycares?
Well, all the dogs literally will play with each other depending on their size, temperament, and age. So they're playing the entire time that they're with us. Only time we take them out is to feed them individually. Mm-hmm. If not, then they're fully playing all day with another dog or other dogs.
Is there anybody there playing with them? Any volunteers? Or?
Well, we try to keep the dogs playing with the other dogs.
Mm-hmm.
Because dogs are packed animals and they want to be with each other more than us, and they get it's just more fun. I rather play, if you're a 2-year-old, you'd rather play with another 2-year-old than play with an adult.
Right.
Corey, I just experienced that actually only a few days ago with my puppy. We took the puppy to the pet store, which offered a puppy playtime. And I'm always reading these signs and saying, wait, am I reading about animals or children? Because it seems like something my grandson should be involved in, and it's obviously for pets. And it was very interesting how they had it set up there. They had these little fences downstairs. They have an enormous area in the bottom of the store. And they had these little fences that can be moved and pliable. And they put, of course, the bigger dogs together. And they had a wonderful time. And you think, this one looks mean. And he saw this big white dog, and they're rolling around. And you could see they were enjoying it. And my dog being so young, they found the next youngest dog. Right. And the two of them got together and at least opened up a little interaction between each other. This was her first time, and it's like, who are you? I've never met you. I haven't been formally introduced. I don't know if I should be dancing with you. But I guess what I'm understanding about your organization, you get dogs of the same size and temperament. So a 4-month-old dog would probably play with someone similar, and they usually have fun and enjoy it. And that. Any great stories come out of that, or marriages for the older dogs?
There are some, no, but I mean, there is certainly some dogs that we have 2 Rottweilers that come in for boarding. Every once in a while, they'll come in for daycare. And we have a dog that has been boarding with us for some time, and they are just the best of friends. So we always make sure that the 3 of them get together. It's a funny dynamic because when you get to know the dogs, you really just see their personalities. And the Rottweilers, one's male, one's female, and Rocky, who's with us, is a male, and we think the female is his crazy girlfriend, and sometimes he's like, "Oh God, get me out of here," and the brother, the other Roddy, is kind of like, "Come on, let's play." So it's nice to see.
I could see that, and I would think, like ourselves, if you have a friend you just get along with, whether it's having a hamburger or going out and play tennis or golf or physical sports, you enjoy their company for whatever
Right,
reason. You just
exactly.
mesh together. And if they're having a good time, that's a great life.
it
Instead
is.
of sitting in the living room waiting to bite the mailman or,
Right.
for the doorbell to ring and get the Amazon guy before he gets in the truck and,
Right.
and what have you. Corey?
The next thing I want to know is, so there's a term that's been going around. It's called breed exclusivity. What does that mean, and why is it important for owners to know about it and other pet businesses to know about it?
There are certain apartments, towns, not here in New York, but where you can't have certain breeds of dogs. We don't breed. We call it breed discriminate. We don't do that.
You take every
we
breed.
Take every breed.
Doesn't mean if they're mixed.
Doesn't matter.
Doesn't
matter what they're mixed with. So we don't have to always, people sometimes will describe a pit bull mix as a terrier mix. So what we do is we do meet the dog before they're invited in for daycare and boarding. So that way we don't have to breed discriminate. We just go based on the temperament of the dog after we meet them.
And that's a good point because, again, people can talk about you or me or Corey and just associate something with our sex or our age or what we look like.
Exactly.
And I guess those dogs, you probably have, again, pit bull we're all afraid of. And that's the image we
They're
have.
the most loving, sweetest. We have a bunch of them.
And it's funny, that's what I've heard.
Yeah.
And yet, because of that image, you say, oh, yeah, maybe he's sweet today, but tomorrow he might be grumpy or whatever.
All dogs are grumpy. Some of the littlest dogs are the ones that are the grumpiest.
I can't picture that in your place because it sounds like they're in the castle. And
They are happy.
They've got it made.
Right, the dogs are happy. But listen, sometimes we have one beagle that is the sweetest thing, but he comes in, they have to wake him up from his little morning nap, and he comes in and sits in a corner looking like, oh,
Well, he's not a morning person, right?
Exactly.
Okay, he's the evening person.
Right.
That's when he has his coffee and comes along.
Exactly,
And then-
exactly.
well, I just picture that if I worked in your place, I would be videotaping and sending this to Walt Disney and saying, every week I've got a new show for you because you've got the characters already, the beagle, the pit bull, probably the tiny little foo-foo dog who walks around and, looks like the princess. So it must be a very interesting world you're working in there and characters, you see.
Yeah.
It's a lot of fun.
So, this sounds like a fun place to bring your dog and, let them spend the day with other dogs and play around and, get pampered, get their mud baths. But what are some of the rules in Hounds Town USA? And could you tell us a couple? Do those rules pertain to the owners or like the actual dogs? Are some dogs not allowed to play with each other? Like, is there a timeout corner?
We don't talk about that.
Oh.
There's a little timeout every once in a while for some dogs it's not really bad behavior, but we have some dogs that like to bark in each other's faces. Some dogs are fine with it. Other dogs don't want that kind of behavior. Again, it's like we really do try to get to know the dogs so that we'll know who can go with who and who will like the company of the other dog.
So, a lot of it's based on their personalities.
Right.
So today you're in a great mood. Tomorrow you might not be in a good mood. So we'll just move you to hang out with some other dogs that, I'm tired today. I don't feel like running around. I'm going to stay with the lazy folks and just hang out for a while. Other days you want to run around and play all day.
Are there just dogs? Have you gotten dogs that are just too aggressive that just cannot be in the same room with other dogs? That you just okay, you need to go over there?
Not really. I mean, this morning I was there and we had two females, one, again, it depends on the dog. There are just some dogs that all of our dogs have been what we call temperament tested. So we don't ever really feel like there are going to be big dog fights that break out. But every once in a while there's a little argument, a little tiff, we'll call it. So that happens every once in a while, and we'll just kind of separate them for a few, and then they get back together and they're fine.
Right. Well, you are listening to My Hometown on the voice of Nassau Community College, 90.3 WHPC. My name is Corey Kaufman, along with Bill Horan, and today we're talking about a unique business here on Long Island that takes care of your dogs when you aren't able to. It's called Hounds Town USA. Our guests are franchisee owners Colleen Tracey-Shaver and Ann McDonald from the Garden City location.
Colleen, you used the term temper tested. Can you tell our audience what that's a new term to me?
Okay.
So how do you do that? Do you tease them with a bone? Or?
No. We actually schedule appointments. People bring in their dog, and we physically meet them. We put a lead, which is a plastic braided kind of leash, over their head to see how they're going to react. We make sure that their temperament with people is good, that they're not going to not want us handling them. But then we also bring out another dog, and we test them with that dog and see how they are. If the dog that's being tested lunges at that dog, which has happened, I think, 3 or 4 times, then they're not going to be able to be in our facility. So we also try to see, like, if there's a little nervousness. Every dog reacts differently. They sometimes walk into our place and they don't know exactly where they're going. Their reference is usually a vet's office, someplace they don't want to go.
Right.
So we take a lot of things into consideration, but the true thing that we're looking for in a temperament test is overt aggression.
Oh, okay, that's how that would work. And I guess this is a question that comes from the teaching background that I have and many people in my family. Who's the biggest problem, the dogs or the parents?
You know what? I have to say, we have been so lucky. Our the community that we have of people that bring their dogs are amazing. We really have not, we thankfully.
So it's not when I say parent, the dog owner it's not a dog owner who's expecting too much, or why can't she do or what tricks this dog did in a movie, or
no.
I don't know the popular dogs today, but both of you are shaking your heads, so no problem with them. It's just, I guess, getting people to adjust, just as you and I would if we met someplace in a restaurant, try to meet at some common ground, whether it's a type of food or drinks or location or something like that.
Right.
So the dogs are a lot like us.
Yeah, and they acclimate and kind of get used to it, and they know where they're going. The dogs that have been coming to us for a while, like, people open their doors and the dog just jumps out and runs into our place. It's amazing.
That's because they're having a good time. Based on what you're telling me, nobody cleans my ears, nobody gives me a bath every day, takes some good food that you're taking care of. And just tell her, I know you said it before, but where are you located?
We are on Stewart Avenue at 839 behind the Garden Gourmet Deli across from the post office. Okay, so
that's even I could find you over there with all the landmarks. And are there other places on Long Island as part of your franchise? If someone lives out in Suffolk, it might be a trek to come over here.
Yeah, absolutely. Our headquarters is actually in Ronkonkoma. Okay. There's one in Port Jefferson, Deer Park, Island Park. We started in Long Island, so there's more here.
And that's good because obviously you don't want to go too far if you're taking the dog back and forth for daycare or something, if it's a 40-mile trek. Right. But if you're 2, 3, 5, 10 miles, it's a little better.
Absolutely.
So what I want to know is, you mentioned before that there's this big community of dog owners that brings their dogs to your facility. Could you just tell us a little bit about that community? What are the types of people that are bringing their dogs to these daycares? Are these like working professional people who they're not home for long hours of the day, and they just they don't want to leave their dog at home?
Yeah, for the most part, almost all of our people that we serve are working people who are commuting and have long days, and they just don't want to leave their dog home alone all day.
Right. That's why I believe every day should bring your dog to work day.
Yeah. It's fun.
Yeah.
That's
what we do.
That's what your job is.
You do it. We do. You have a good time with it.
Well, I can only bring one out of my 4.
Oh.
The other 3 are not the most dog friendly, believe it or not, as odd as that it seems.
A little too rowdy.
The cruel.
Yeah.
Now, when people leave a dog, they're away, and they're true pet lovers. That this either they may not have children, or this would come before their children, because the pets can't express themselves. How do you keep in touch, or do people care about that during the day? Do they want to know how Fido is doing, or Rover, or do they just leave them with you and come back at 5 or 6 o'clock or whenever?
Well, we post pictures on Facebook. We have a Facebook group for everyone who drops their dogs off for us, so they could see pictures during the day of their dogs. And if you're not part of the Facebook, we could always email you pictures, and you could call at any time, and we'll tell you how your dog is doing and everything that's going on with your dog for the day.
And when a dog boards, is there a specific amount of time they usually come in? Is that because someone's on vacation or at a business meeting or something?
It's all different reasons. We have somebody who works at 1-800-Flowers, and when he dropped his dog off yesterday, said, I'm probably going to work a 14-hour day. He might need to stay. Yeah. So, it might be a one-night boarding. We have people who have children that are in, like, hockey tournaments, so they have to travel for that. We have people who actually, we have our landlord's dogs for 6 weeks starting yesterday. So he's traveling to Europe. So, it's all for different reasons.
I never thought of that. I'm thinking like someone goes on a vacation in quote 1 week maybe, or a business trip for 3 or 4 days.
No, it's
but I never thought of that extensive time, or just the. We all have that. We know it's going to be a longer day, or if it's a lawyer maybe on trial where he or she. They're not going to have any free time. They're lucky they get to eat because it's either murder or something very serious, or they're at that point where they have to be accessible, etc. Right. So a lot of good points there.
Right. And how long on average do these dogs stay? Like, what's the extent?
It kind of varies by the individual. There's no real...
I mean, going, like the 6-week stay that we have now is not the norm. I would say that usually there's 14 days is a long stay.
Wow.
So it's usually under that. But we've had multiple 2-week stays in boarding.
And what do these stays look like? Do they get their own rooms?
Yes.
They get their own room?
Yes.
Their own bed?
Yes.
They're living better than you are.
Yeah,
wow.
they are.
Both
They really
of us,
are.
We're not even close to these dogs.
Yeah, we have what we call townhouses and luxury suites. So they're different sizes. So depending on the size of the dog, or if somebody has a little dog but just wants them to have their
own space,
really big space.
Put them in the presidential suite.
We don't. Some places have that. We are. I think that's also what kind of makes us different is that we across the board are just affordable and just want our dogs to behave like dogs. Like we don't read them bedtime stories for an extra fee.
It's a little more low key.
Exactly.
Yeah, they're a dog. It's not a kid.
Right.
It sounds like they have a lot of fun. It sounds like you're enjoying what you're doing every day, and that's a win-win. If the owners, the people, the person working, the teacher is happy, students,
then
the pets are going to be happy, and the parents, meaning the owners, are going to enjoy it. Before we wrap up, once again, tell us where Hounds Town is.
839 Stewart Avenue.
Right across from the post office.
Right across the street from the post office.
In Garden City. See, I've been listening. I'm taking notes. I'm getting everything down.
Right behind Garden Gourmet Deli.
Yep.
Oh, very good, very good.
Got to get your bacon, egg, and cheese after you drop off.
I have a feeling you've been there.
I've been there a lot.
We want to thank our guests, Colleen Tracey-Shaver and Ann McDonald, franchise owners of Hounds Town USA, located in Garden City, for being with us today.
Thank you so much
Thanks
for having us.
so much for being here. And
thank you.
Lots of good luck with the puppies. I'm Bill Horan. I'm here with Corey Kaufman. We thank you for listening to this week's edition of My Hometown.
We'd like to get your feedback on My Hometown. Send your comments to WHPC at ncc.edu. Nassau Community College, where success starts and continues. Till next time, this is Bill St. James. And remember, there's no town like your hometown.